Very well. While we set up, I must remind you that the Disney Bid War that is happening later today has the Lion King and Aladdin. Lion King leading with $180, while Aladdin is at $70. So if you want a chance to see Aladdin, you might want to consider donating right now. In the meantime, we also got the LADX file name with Iwata at $47 and Dongri just behind at $40. Those are asking to be sniped pretty much.
Okay, I think we are all set, so whenever you want.
Okay, just count down and go.
You can give me a countdown.
Alright, I'll do it from 5. We'll start on go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
So, thank you. Hey, I'm Munchakoopas. This is Hyper Light Drifter. It's an action-adventure game based on classics from the Super Nintendo era, as well as stuff like Evangelion and the Miyazaki movies. The main goal of the game is to go to the north, south, east, and west to collect a few things. Then right off the bat, I start cheating by going out of bounds. The main mode of travel is this dashing. And since this is a New Game Plus run, I have pretty much every upgrade from the start of the game, and only 2 health. So this dash takes up my stamina, which is the white bar in the top left corner. I can chain it infinitely, provided I have stamina, and there's a few subtle nuances to the amount of dashes in a chain that offer different effects, which I'll get to later. That's like a teleport zip kind of thing. We're not really sure what to call it. But essentially I line myself up on a platform that I can fall off of, and then I do a sword attack with X and A on the Xbox controller, and it causes me to just kind of fly through the air until I hit ground again. It's only useful in those 2 spots though, at least in this run. Anyway, fell off. This game also features an auto-aim mechanic on the dash, so sometimes it will lead you astray. Coming up is the first module that I need. I need 4 of these in every area. And then I pause right here to prevent the game from opening the map, which it does whenever you activate a teleport pad or whenever you get the first module in a playthrough. As for this dash, you may see me doing sets of 2 or 3 in a row. Sets of 2 conserve stamina the best, sets of 3 are the fastest, and after 3 or more, you will bonk if you hit a wall or object. And if you do 4 dashes or more in a chain, you'll do a slide at the end of it. Like that, but it's usually not that useful to slide. And then these coughs, like this one, happen, they're scripted, and you can't really skip them. You can by dashing over the trigger for them, but it's very difficult to do, and we don't know the entire length of each trigger area for all of the coughs. Anyway. I grab this health kit for safety. Most things in New Game Plus will kill me instantly. Like this fellow. Those guys explode and they'll kill me. So pretty much every door in this game can cause some type of out of bounds. Let me get back to that in a moment. I've opened the map while I activate this module because if you do so, it allows you to move around during the cutscene that plays afterward. And then you can also interact with objects like the switch, which lowered some barriers. Kind of hard to tell when I'm zooming around the screen with the map open. Anyway, here's another red door out of bounds. In this game, whenever you open a door, it kind of creates a state around the door which allows you to walk into the wall. and it works a little bit differently with every type of door, and there's only a couple in the game that you can't actually go out of bounds on. And the reason we go into this room, and the reason why I did that out of bounds, was to avoid picking up a key, which you normally need to enter this room. Just gonna shoot at that guy, because then he'll blow up and kill those guys. And now I need to do another set of out of bounds to skip an arena, which would normally unlock this door over here. When you're out of bounds, there's certain rules that come into play. For example, if you're out of bounds for about 3 or 4 seconds, the game will instantly kill you. So you need to either heal yourself with a health kit, which is the green dots in the top left corner. I can have up to 3 at a time. The other way you prevent dying out of bounds is by using the sit command, which is down on the D-pad. The pink squares in the top left corner are my ammo for my gun. Right now I just have the pistol, which deals 1 damage, and it has rapid fire capabilities. But I can cancel my gunshots with sword attacks, so I can deal 2 damage very quickly. And then after I pick up another weapon here in a little bit, it'll become very important to be able to switch weapons. But I'll get to that in a little while. As for other attacks that use my stamina, I can actually reflect projectiles like all these shurikens coming at me. I have a charge slash attack, which you've already seen. I actually have a barrier that absorbs projectiles, but it's almost never used. And then there's 2 other sword attacks which I rarely use, aside from using the one to set up the skips earlier. Now I'm actually going to go fight this boss. You don't have to, but for the sake of marathon safety, I'm going to. And earlier you saw me damage boost with a shuriken, which got me over the water. Nothing too fancy, really. This boss, if you stand right here, on either side, he actually can never hit you. And he's dead. So here's the pillar in the area. Looks like a giant play button. In addition to the modules, I need to activate one of these in each area in order to unlock the final area of the game. You can do each area, the north, south, east, and west. You can do them in any order, with the exception that you must do the south last. And that's because you actually need to unlock the barriers in each area in order to access the south. And I just picked up the shotgun. That'll be important in a little bit. This is the 4th module in an area, and after you activate the 4th module, there's normally a small cutscene that plays. However, if you teleport away fast enough, the cutscene will never play. You can also skip them by saving and quitting, which is slightly slower. Most of these out-of-bounds sections in town just kind of get you out of town faster. They also all skip. There's one cutscene right outside the house, which takes about 7 to 8 seconds, where the drifter just kind of stands in place. So we skip that, which saves just a handful of seconds. Anyway, proceeding through the north. Since I have 2 weapons now, that's very important for a lot of reasons. The shotgun does just as much damage as a charge slash at point-blank range if you hit with all the shots. And more importantly, it has a bit of a cooldown period between when you can fire. However, if you swap weapons, that cooldown is reset, and you reload the gun instantly. So the attack combination, fire shotgun, swing sword, swap weapons twice, repeat, that does a lot of damage incredibly quickly. And then the way I get ammo back is actually by hitting things with my sword, and I get more ammo back if I hit things, or if I hit enemies, rather. Nothing too fancy as we proceed through the north here, so if we have time for any donations or any incentive plugs, that'd be good.
Alright. And I'd just like to plug in about what are you exactly watching? You're watching the JRTA marathon. We raise money for 2 speedrunners. Those are ZZZ, Honky, and Suzuri Bako. Honky will be racing Kirby Superstar, while Suzuri Bako will be playing the Donkey Kong 3 relay race, and as well as some other Kirby games. As you can see, we've met our goal, and so all of your donations will be going straight to Doctors Without Borders, which is also a very fun, very important donation charity as well. So please keep the donations going. We are also less than $400 away from $5,000. So it'll be amazing to reach that.
Right, hard to tell what I just did, but I started in arena, and then normally there's a little barrier that pops up, and you can actually use that to push yourself out of bounds. Now I'm going to try and skip the north boss. So what I've done is I activated the module while I was sliding from too many drifts, but I slid off the edge of the platform. For whatever reason, this allows the drifter to get into a clippy state, so he can just kind of walk into the wall right there. But doing that skips several rooms and another arena fight, and gets me to this pillar early without ever having to fight the boss. And the boss of this area is very random. All of its attacks would kill me instantly. Oh, I still have the clippy state. I should have just walked out of that. I forgot. Anyway. You can skip that little cutscene. So that's a huge time save and a big weight off anyone's shoulders for anyone looking to run this category. I still need 2 modules, so we're going to go acquire those down this elevator here. Nearly every enemy in this area will deal 2 damage. At least, like, these bird mages will. These little guys with the guns only deal 1, but... Something else to note about the pistol is that it's actually incredibly inaccurate. You get a little aiming cursor for every weapon, but it doesn't really seem to help much with the pistol, because it never really fires in a perfect straight line. But I guess that's realistic, if you're into that. Doing some more out of bounds here. Kinda hard to tell where the drifter is, but if you can see it, he's the, his sprite is lit up just slightly, kinda like in Mario Sunshine when you go underground in Delfino Plaza. And right here we're going to use these barriers to push me into the wall again. And then very important that I not walk back into bounds here. Especially in this room where I will soft lock the game. But you can just kind of walk up through this wall. And then teleport back to town. And the out of bounds with that style of door, they're all incredibly easy to do. You can just walk into the wall. I actually do a similar one here in town. That one just gets me over to the west a little bit faster and saves a bit of stamina. Throughout the west, you'll mainly see me use these sets of 2 to save stamina. I meant to dash a little higher on this platform so I wouldn't fall, but it happens. Take time to heal. You can already see that if I had used sets of 3, I would have been out of stamina long before I ever got to this point. Here's the first module. And we'll just kinda run away from it. Assuming we're not walking into a wall, which we were. It happens sometimes. coming up at the end of this room is something we call a screen transition clip. What I'm going to do is try to, after this transition, dash back into the screen transition. You'll know when I get it because I'll get on the line for transitioning that I won't change screens. It's really hard to do. You essentially just have to mash the dash button until you get it. There we go. Then I aim my gun down right, and that lets me just kind of walk into the wall for whatever reason. And then we're going to be doing 2 more transition clips in the south, and they're a little easier to see and understand what's going on. So I'll go over those again later. That's one of my favorite parts of the run, because you get to shoot some barrels and kill that guy. Then you may have noticed I went out of bounds to get into this room. This room is actually locked from the outside, so I'm still locked in this room, and I have to find a way out. What I'm going to do is a crystal clip. I'm going to break these big crystals up here, and then they're going to start flashing. When they do, I'm going to start dashing. And then I bonk on the wall, which for whatever reason allows the character to then walk out of bounds. That only happens if you bonk when the crystal reforms. I'm going to be doing 1 more of those and then another variation to skip the boss, since this is any percent. And those crystals deal 2 damage. These guys don't. Still don't want to get hit though. Right here you can just kind of dash into the wall. There's actually just a hole in the wall right there. Same with the arena I skipped earlier. You can just walk into those. For these crystal clips, since I'm about to do another one, you actually can do them with a perfectly timed single dash, which would be faster, but it's kind of hard to do as a human, at least for me. For this one, you want to dash over to the left, actually, because there's no floor directly behind that crystal. You can kind of cheat with this select buffer by kind of showing where the character is a little bit. You have to be careful that you don't show the character for too long, because otherwise the game will freeze while the cutscene plays. Because you're not actually able to open the map during the module cutscene, you have to have it open beforehand. Ooh, that would have killed me. Death isn't really too costly in this game, because at the entrance of nearly every room, the game autosaves. There are some parts, like for example earlier in the run, in the east, where you can actually not, you skip what causes the saves in the room. But for the most part, death usually isn't too big of a deal, unless you die at the end of a boss fight. But that's not an issue here, since I'm going to be skipping most of them. The west boss is probably the second most dangerous after the boss of the north. Hopefully that setup works. Good. So if you dash over a certain spot, you can lure him to just kind of summon the little guy. And then with this crystal clip, I actually break it and then make myself fall off the platform as the crystal reforms. Because for some reason, when you come back up from taking the fall, you're then able to just walk into the wall. It's very confusing. I still need 1 more module. This room is incredibly dangerous because these wolves, while they don't deal a lot of damage, there's a lot of them. But we're done with the west and back to town. And now it's just the south. And in addition to the north boss skip that I did earlier, all the tricks coming up for the south were recently discovered. Oops. I thought I was going to bonk on the frog guy. Alright, first things first, I need to activate the teleport pad. And hopefully we get one of these transition clips first try. Yeah, I got it first try. What this one has skipped is a very long underground section, and I'm actually coming in from behind one of the boss layers. This is important because it gives me a very easy module. And this same trick is actually used in all bosses because it allows us to get to the boss quicker. Alright, next trick is another transition clip to hopefully... Well, I shouldn't say hopefully when I'm going to do it, but hopefully I get it quickly, and that will allow us to skip another boss. This one's kind of weird to do, because for a lot of the other ones you can dash at like a 45-degree angle and they'll work almost every time. This one, it seems to be very picky about what angle you choose. Okay, so I walk into the top right corner, hold up right, aim my gun, dash. Now you can see I'm kind of on the barrier of the wall. And then I have to dash in very careful, or very select places. But there. I have skipped the archer boss. If you've played this game, you'll know that that's one of the only bosses that you actually have to fight to finish this area. Now I'm going to do two of the harder tricks. Or not tricks, but the two harder modules and get those out of the way. This room is full of robots. Grab that. Okay, that room can be very tricky because if any of those enemies hits you during your charge, you obviously won't charge your charge slash. And then you're just kind of stuck there with a billion enemies in your face. Now time for the return of a trick we haven't seen since the east, the red door out of bounds. Essentially I open it, count to 5, and then just kind of walk out of bounds. Oops. Okay, I'm still out of bounds. Here, aim my gun. Okay, ammo is very important here because I need to be able to shoot these switches. Alright, that was much better pace than my PB. My personal best, and I think the current record for this category, is a 25-22. I might actually beat that. So for the last module, we have a dash challenge. First try. Alright, so we're done with every area. The only thing we have left to do is get to the final boss and kill it. And time will be almost a minute after I kill the boss. I will let you know. If you're familiar with speedruns of Ori and the Blind Forest, you'll know that that run ends with losing control of... Oh, I forget her name. But the point is the game ends with you controlling one of the characters as they walk in essentially a straight line. And then time ends when you lose control of the character. That same thing is going to happen in this run. But we have a moment, so if we have any donations or anything, feel free.
Alright, I'm just gonna take the time to remind everyone about the incentives we have. We got the Disney bid war going on. The one in the lead right now is the Lion King for Super Nintendo at $180. And Aladdin is just a little bit behind with $70. Also the game for Super Nintendo. And we also have the LADX file name. Ahead by Iwata is leading with $47. But just behind is Donguri with $40. And we also can donate for best anime. You can type anything you want or just donate for one of the already selected names. We got Magical Poppin at $25, leading as the best anime, just behind Tosaka-rin and JRTA3. We also got the Final Fantasy character names. For Cloud, the name leading right now is McNuggy at $66.03. We have for Tifa, we got Bonbon at $30. Barrett has Baron at $15. Aris has Do the Thing at $2,000. Brad 13 has Oh My Dog at $105, and Sid has Boom Shaka at $10. So you can donate to any of these, just remember to specify it on the donation.
Alright. I destroyed the final boss. And now in this section, any action besides walking will cause the character to cough, but the two that just happened are scripted. There's one more, happening right about now. Time ends when I lean against this pillar, so get ready. And... time.
GG.
I got 26:28 by my timer.
I got exactly the same. Well done.
Very
Nice,
well done.
I'm happy with that run. Thank you, I'm glad you liked it.
Very well done. Very well commentated too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the chat liked it a lot too, and they liked your voice.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
everyone is complimenting you a lot, dude.
Excellent. I actually forgot to open chat for this. But I'll be running this at AGDQ, and there's an incentive for all bosses instead of any percent.
Nice.
So if you want to see me actually fight something, donate for that. Anyway, what did we have next?
I'm gonna make a short announcement regarding that because we're actually gonna switch with streamer and host. So the stream is gonna go down for like maybe 10 to 20 seconds, and we will have Kirby Superstar with a race just after. So stay tuned for that.
And with that, I'm also done as reading donations. So thank you everyone for all your very generous donations. And I'll be seeing you guys around. See ya.